March the 5th sees the beginning of a 10-day celebration of science, technology, engineering and maths. In this session, we're going to have a look at some of the wonderful resources that you can just cherry pick to ping out to your pupils during the course of that week and indeed at any other time during the year. Plus, we'll look at a number of the tools and also some of the documentation and self-help areas available to you as well. This folder has a selection of those resources, and to be able to find it, you can just click on Teachers, go to the featured panel calendar and just scroll down to the appropriate time of the year, which is March the 5th. And here we can see not only have we had International Women's Day, you could look at that folder, but then if we just have a quick look at British Science Week, it should be in the featured panel, but just in case you want to look at it beforehand, this is the quickest way to be able to locate it. While we're in this folder, it's also worthwhile pointing out something that people quite often ask is, how do I know if these pre-made activities are age appropriate for my pupils? Very easy. If I just hover over any of them, you'll be able to see in the image that in the top left corner, you've got the cross-curricular boxes, and in the right-hand corner, there are white boxes and purple boxes. This particular activity is showing us that the purple boxes that are lit are relevant for years 4, 5 and 6. That's what was being considered when it was being created. If I go across to robot meals, you'll be able to see here that this would probably be most suitable in its current form for pupils in year 1, 2 and 3. Not to say that it couldn't be used at other age groups, but you might just want to do a little bit of editing and differentiation. So we're going to move out of this folder and go back to the home page, because probably the most obvious place to start looking for any kind of science activities would be in the science resource area. That can be located very easily just by clicking on the button. Gives us an indication of some of the tools that we might consider using. It's not an exhaustive list, but it gives us a good start. And we'll come back and have a look at one or two of those before the end of the session. Also got all of the science topics. Behind each one of these, you'll find lots of wonderful pre-made resources for you to be able to use with your students. Got the lovely mash cams where children can pretend to be somebody for the day. You can see on here, as long as they've got a webcam available to them of some description on their device, they'll be able to pretend to be someone. They'll be able to pretend to be the engineer. What will they say? What will they put in the actual speech bubble? They can record their own voices as well on there. Hours of fun to be had. Plus, we've got masses of printable resources. Again, behind each of these images, you can just click inside and see that there are ready-made activities for you to be able to use. Back from the home page. So we've got science here. We also have the ability to go into the teacher area. Scroll down past the featured panel, which we looked at just before, and then we look at the curriculum maps. We've got them for England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. Whichever one you choose to go into, you'll find that everything has been cross-referenced with any kind of objectives from your particular documentation. I'm going to go into the one for England. It being science, technology, engineering and maths, we could look at the design technology. Have a quick look at this particular one. It's the curriculum document from 2014, and here you can see that we've got the National Curriculum Statement, the fact that we have got Purple Mash resources that could be matched to those, and then quick jump hyperlinks to take you straight through to those activities. So you can see if it's something that you want to work on with your pupils or whether you want to adapt it slightly first. Not only have we got that one, we've got the maths one, and we've also got the science. Just click on here. The science one, if I just scroll through, obviously there's quite a few different topic areas. I'll just click on the plants for year 1. Again, you can see the national curriculum statements. We can see that we have Purple Mash activities. Again, it's not an exhaustive list, but it just gives you an indication. You can just click again to jump straight to them. And then in this fourth column, what it's doing is generating lots of ideas and links for planning using various different tools. And it's also suggesting that you could be practicing some of the computational skills from your scheme of work in the context of your science lesson. So we have pictograms to create, this being data handling. We've got yes-no databases. We've got grouping, sorting, sequencing, all manner of activities like that. Back inside my home page again. So far we have the ability to be able to click on the science tool. We can click inside teachers and have a look in the featured panel and locate the relevant week and activity. Click on the link to take us through to the folder, being the one about science and engineering with this one. Or we could go down to the relevant curriculum maps. And if we just go a slight bit further down, we could also find the training platform, and this is available for everybody who has a login for Purple Mash. Not only do we have the one for science, you can see that we have them for maths and a few other areas as well. We're increasing them. If I just click on the science course, you might want to visit this at some point just to be able to sort of refresh your memories about certain parts of the science offerings. We've got the science curriculum map. You watch a brief video and then do an even shorter quiz with yes, no, true, false, multi-choice sort of answers. This will tell you basically what I've just said about the curriculum map, the one for England, that is. Then we've got the science topics. Again, you could just watch that small aspect and then go to the quiz and see if you've actually picked up on the things that you wanted to from watching the video. If I click on the science tools, for example, we could just watch the video, and if I went to the quiz, I can see here one of the questions. Which of these tools can be used to support science learning? Well, I'll answer the first one for you. Every single one of these tools could be used in some way with your science, technology, engineering and maths. And we'll have a look at a few ideas as we go along. Go back to my Purple Mash page. From here we can go into the tools area and have a quick look at some of the things that are available to you. To create a story, for example, if I just launch this one, if I go into the adventure story mode, you'll be able to see, if I show you on one that I've already created, that you can do non-chronological writing. You can look at representing sort of choices that have been made. This one's actually a choice adventure story. If I just play it, you can see Mary and John go on an adventure. The next page, they have to make a choice. It could be choices to do with the solids, liquids, gases. You decide what it's going to be, light and dark. Yeah. To the beach. They can just move on. They can go back. They can navigate through this digital document. The nice thing is that you can see all of the planning that's gone on. It might look extremely complicated, but this is just showing how we can link the various different pages to one another. It is an awful lot more easy to create than it looks from this diagram. There's always the handy user guides here as well to help you along. If I come out of there, go into something like to publish, you notice that we have things like for life cycles, perhaps here. You could be doing what I have learned. That could be adapted to make it into some sort of report for experiments. We've also got storyboarding on here. What I found out, a slightly different way of presenting results and findings. Got to publish plus. This is a nice thing to do with the leaflets, especially if you're doing something like solids, liquids and gases. This is a sort of prism shape, and that would lend itself really nicely to be able to put one on each face. It's also worthwhile noting that all of these can be printed off on A4 paper. It's quite nice to have things going from being digital to being real and being handled. So lots of blank templates there ready for you, all prepared just to send out. We've also got the collaborative tools of 2Write and 2Connect. With 2Write, you can see in the sort of pop-up that we've got here, the children are writing on the same virtual piece of paper, which is really good if you're doing the sort of brainstorming bit, perhaps at the start of an investigation or a design, and everyone's work is highlighted in a different colour so you can see who's contributed what. Similarly with the 2Connect, it's again like a mind map where you can just plan out where everything might be going. We've got 2Question. That's a really nice one. I'll just nip into in a second, but I'll just mention the other collaborative tool, which is 2Investigate, looking at at complete databases, and the children can populate those without fear of overwriting somebody else's work. They can be working on them at the same time. We've got 2Question for branching databases, and I've just launched this one because I can show you an example of that as well. Very, very simple to create. Quite often it's easier if you do just have physical cards out on a table to see where you want everything to go. If I just open my mini beast sorting, this is one that I've already created. I can just click. I've got sound added on here.
Does it have legs?
I'll say yes, it does. Does it have wings? No. Does it have more than 8 legs? Yes. Then it's got to be the millipede because that's the only one available, and I can go back and play again. Really nice, simple way of showing the yes, no sorting for classification. We've got the 2Chart where you can make flowchart diagrams. Very, very easy to use those too. And I just nipped past this one, 2Design and Make, sort of being in this sort of science mode, forgetting about the sort of technology side of things. This is computer aided design. I click on here, launch the app. It's one of my favourites actually. There's masses of previously made templates. You can start from scratch pretty much, but if I go into this one, for example, works really nicely. You can see straight away any changes that have been made on screen here just by dragging and dropping. There are alterations in the shape of the net and in the 3D shape that's going to be generated from using that net. It can be printed out on A4 paper and made in the real physical world. I quite like using this when it's sort of Easter or Christmas time. You could use this for creating Easter egg boxes. You could use it for making decorations to go on the Christmas tree. I also like going out into this one here, and I can pretend that I'm part of Aston Martin or Jaguar Land Rover and make myself a car. See what my car is going to look like before it actually goes into production. It's being used just like computers be used in the real world. We can see what the windscreen is going to look like. We can also start adding some colour. I just go back onto this one. I can use my fill tool and colour in. It gives us that idea of spatial awareness. Where is the bonnet? Where is the windscreen? Whereabouts are the lights going to go, and what shape are they going to be? What will it look like before we actually go to the expense of producing masses of them? One of my favourite bits of this is the fact that you can create wraps. It used to be very popular when people had minis, the previous little minis, not the great big ones that there are now. I'm just going to put a design on here. Let's pretend that I can actually do a bit of art. So like a bit of a daffodil I think we've got here, and I'll just make that, and then I can click and I can wrap my whole car in it and see what it looks like. Once I've created it, I can just save it. I'll call this, can't spell, flower car, and save it. And once it's saved, I can then put it up on a display board just by sharing. I could also, as you can see here, download this as an STL file and take it across to a 3D printer, which is brilliant. This particular tool could be used by children in nursery. It is so easy to use. If I export, I can send it as an image, And I can also, share. And from the sharing, you can see it says share. Where would you like to put it? I'm going to do it on the what we did this week display board. You can call it whatever you want to. Okay. And you can also, if you wish to, you saw on sharing, you could set it as a starter and get the children to continue with it as a to-do. You can send it as an attachment to email, or you could go directly to a blog. I'll stick it on the Homeschool Link blog. What's really nice here is you get a small thumbnail of what it's actually like. You give it a title. I'll call it Flower Cart. A quick summary is my design and wrap. I can start writing about it. I can put videos in. Maybe I'm showing how I've actually created something on here. Blogs are really nice for sharing results of things or ideas or ways that experiments have been done. You've got the evidence there, filming of it. You can put hyperlinks in, you can change all sorts of different pieces, and then you just click save and publish. If I come out of that now and just go to my sharing area, we'll be able to see in this display board, it's not there yet, is it? What we did this week. So I just have to go as a teacher and see any unapproved items. Be able to see my car on here in a second. There it is. And I can just say, yep, I'd like that to go on the board. Save the changes. And then we can see that it's gone live. You are in complete control of what is seen or not. But you could just have that there as an example, and then the pupils start submitting their ideas. You can have as many different display boards as you wanted to. You have various groups working on different activities. They could have display boards to send their work to, sort of ideas, bits of inspiration perhaps. Similarly with the blogs, you'll be able to see those. Just take a quick look. If you want to know more about blogs, just go to admin, manage blogs, and also you've got your display boards here. As I said, you're in complete control of what goes live, what can be viewed, who can actually see it, comment on it, etc. Another nice tool is to animate. Again, very, very easy for children to use, right the way down into reception. To be fair, probably some children in nursery would be able to use it too. I'll just launch the app, and I have an example here too. I'll just open it of my flower, it's a time lapse. See each individual slide showing a little bit more in the development. I just click, you see I've got sound on here as well. I could speed it up if I wanted to. Like a magic flower. Really handy for children just to be able to present their findings, their results, their ideas in whichever way they feel is most appropriate. You also notice we've got the brand new 2 survey, so if something is actually being created, you can get people's reactions to it by sending them out a survey. Got all the lovely music and sound apps as well. So plenty of ideas, perhaps using 2Quiz. So children, obviously, to be able to make a quiz, you've got to know what answers you've got and how you're going to perhaps point people in that general direction. It's a really nice way of finding out what children do actually know. It's sort of a revision idea. You can get them to create as many different quizzes as you like, or you can make them for yourself. So plenty of suggestions there, hopefully to give you a wealth of ideas of how you can inspire your children during Science, Technology, Engineering and Maths Week.